Hello, and welcome to another edition of Audio Heads. Today we're reviewing a full cast audio presentation of Universe by Robert Heinlein. And it was probably from 1950, I think, 1952, or somewhere in there, 1955. And it was this version was done in a full cast audio presentation, and it was quite interesting. It was a good old science fiction story about a spaceship, and these three men who actually there was like four or five men who were trying to figure out what you know how to drive it, what it really was. Is there a spiritual component to this spaceship? Is the spaceship all there is? Uh, and what exactly is the difference between the top decks on the spaceship and the bottom decks on the spaceship? And it's just it was really it wasn't as claustrophobic as let's say the black hole or one of those stories, because this spaceship was pretty expansive. You just felt like there was all sorts of room. Like if they actually thought that Jordan, who could all of the Christian prayers, if you just supplanted the Lord or Jesus or God, put Jordan in there. And that's what some people felt about the whole story of the ship. Um, it was really interesting. It was really intriguing how they had set their minds on this strange reality of the universalness of the ship. And they were just trying to get somewhere, just get somewhere. I think they were going to Centaurus, which all kind of in a way sounds like Alpha Centauri. So maybe they were headed to the Earth's nearest star with planets. And then you get all these Whovians who think of Alpha Centauri as this little green guy that with looks like a little penis with six arms, who speaks in a high voice. But this was not that. This was they had turned a destination, but yet they didn't. They had been an uprising and they killed all the navigators. So how in the hell are they going to fly this freaking ship? So it was just, I mean, they had, it was like science versus religion, science versus military control, militaristic mindset. It was just there was a whole bunch of sort of dialectics going on. But anyway, what did you think, Lee?
Well, I do like these old radio plays from back in the day. And this was what, not even 30 minutes long, really. You begin with this story where the story's already ongoing.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know if there's episodes before this or not, but I think this is just like a one-off story, isn't it? But yeah, it's you say it's about belief, but it's also about control.
Yes.
And also where you're you think you're far superior than other people because
Yes.
they're frightened of the difference of people, of the mutants.
Yes.
Um, yeah, I enjoyed this. It was I mean, I never heard it before, so when I listened to it, I thought, oh, 20 odd minutes. I thought, oh, well, that's gone by. It's just a short, compact story.
It is.
Um, it's a it's a sad ending, really,
Hmm.
because the mutants wanted to show the people the universe. This was the control room of the ship because there's nothing beyond the ship in the eyes of all the other people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're not supposed to speak. You're a blasphemer. It's words against Jordan.
Yes.
Jordan was the name Jordan was one of the people who created the ship, the space mission, and
Yes.
through the years, it's been regurgitated that Jordan was the creator. Um, you know, so you
So,
blaspheme as all religion goes, I suppose.
yes.
Um, it's twisted, it's turned, it changes over time, um, and that's how history works. But yeah, the mutants wanted to show them the empty control room, what used to be a hive of activity, plotting and driving this ship through space, and they had different levels of the ship. Um, but none of them believed there was anything out there. It was just the ship. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it was an interesting story. Not many characters in this. There was, well, I would say five at the most, five characters at the most.
Yep.
But well acted for 1955. Um, the soundscape was fun, but it did have the feel. It just did have the feel of 1950s sci-fi.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I enjoyed listening to this little thing. It was interesting.
Yeah. I just was like, I really wanted to bring in the Heinlein since we've been talking a little bit about Heinlein in our podcast recently, and I just thought that circling over to him would be a really good idea. And this story is short but powerful, and it's I mean, it really is like this wide open tale of these people who you know are living on a spaceship, and they don't know that they have to drive it, so it's just kind of drifting there in the middle of nothingness. And that's so weird because like you'd assume that you know that they would have set the course and just held to it, but yeah, apparently you needed some navigators,
Mm.
but they had killed them all in an earlier uprising. And it was just really interesting. There was an element of like there was an element of this story that was replicated in Star Wars amongst the rebels and like the Empire, because the Empire had these ships that were ginormous and stuff like that. And maybe what's the other one? The hegemony of oh god, what's it called? I just won't remember it right now. But there's another one that also has these great big ships that people end up thinking are their whole world. Anyway, there's also Yeah, there's also a sense that these guys were trying to remember where they came from.
Mm.
They didn't know that their origin story was on Earth. They kind of one guy did. The guy with all the books, he did, but there wasn't anybody else that kind of had that figured out. And that's kind of where all these book bannings are just, so stupid. You're gonna forget where you came from. Oh my gosh. Anyway, it's going on in the United States. It's just ridiculous. It is absolutely.
You can't. Last says you can't change history. You learn by it.
Yep.
Banning books, changing things in books, changing or editing movies. It's no good. You learn by history.
Yep. Anyway, this crew at the end wasn't any better off. In fact, much worse because basically the militaristic people crushed them.
Just killed the mutants.
Yeah, they crushed
Mm.
him, and that was just
Killed the main character as well.
yeah.
But what made me laugh was at the beginning where the two guys are going to see the wise man, the old man who's on another level.
Mm-hmm.
Only go, have you got anything to offer me for my wisdom? Yeah, the best was tobacco.
Yeah,
The best tobacco. I mean, back then everybody it was all tobacco and cigarettes, wasn't it? Back in the 50s, and
it was. It really was. Like that was a thing back then.
yeah, it was. And the wise man, after receiving that, told him the words of wisdom from the words of Jordan, through his father's tongue, through his grandfather's tongue, through all this.
Uh-huh.
It was a great scene.
It really
Uh,
was.
but, but it was all hand-me-down words. What has uh, changed over the centuries?
Yep.
Um, I mean, you don't need centuries for words to change, because the game what you used to play when you was a little kid, where you used to say something in somebody's ear, and when it got round to somebody else, it was a totally different thing. We used to call it, I don't know what you used to call it over there, but we used to call it Chinese whispers.
We used to call it telephone.
Mm. And you used to say a sentence, and there was maybe what, six people or whatever. By
Yeah.
it got to the sixth person, it was totally different what they heard from the last person.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's how word of mouth could alter the
Yeah,
religion in this.
the interesting thing was that the one guy had the one guy with all the books, the wise guy he had all the logs from the ship. He knew what was going on.
No, that was the mutant.
Right, but
He wasn't the wise man at the beginning.
he wasn't the wise man at the beginning, but he was the wise one.
Oh yeah, yeah, he was wiser than them all.
Yeah, that's
Um,
what I meant. I didn't mean the sort of shaman guy.
I mean, I did find it quite strange that there was the two main characters at the beginning who went to see the wise man, but then after they sort of ran because the wise man was killed, um, they got jumped by the mutants, and one of them got killed, and his other friend there didn't seem to be that bothered.
Yeah,
He just said, "Oh no, it was too late to get to your friend. He's dead," and he didn't seem at all bothered that his friend who had been just talking to minutes ago was dead.
I know.
Some people, civilizations are very fickle.
Yeah.
but but listening to this, I was I was getting images of other sci-fis. This sort of story has been integrated into science fiction. What's come after this? These the layers and layers of ships, and they don't know they're on a ship. The engines aren't working; they're just drifting. Doctor Who's done this many a time. Um,
Yeah.
you know, the Beast Below. Um, uh, Capaldi's last one with the Cybermen.
With the ships hanging over a black hole.
Hanging over black holes. Yeah, just drifting. It's been yeah. It's been put into other. Well, you just steal, don't you? You just steal ideas from all over the
Right,
place.
right. And this one's and the other thing that this one incorporates is that people could live on a spaceship and raise generations of people on a spaceship
Mhm. And not realize
and eventually not realize that
there's nothing. Not
that there's a
realizing
destination.
there's other stuff out there.
Yeah,
In their minds, there's nothing beyond the ship,
right.
which it's when you think about what's going on in the world today.
Oh, you know what this is? This is also a lot like Snowpiercer.
Yeah,
Yeah, like the back end and then all the way up to the front, right?
yeah, but when you think about the idea of this story, you could put that situation into any modern day situation on this planet.
Yeah,
When countries are at war, um, they can't see anything apart from their ideology of their rulers.
right.
So it was a good little tale, really.
It was definitely um it was definitely repeated in other forms, and uh it kind of had a little bit of that Heinlein, like looking at things from a completely different perspective, which is great. I love that about Heinlein's writing.
But I always do like these old radio plays.
Yeah,
It's just the feel of them, and it's good.
yeah. They did capture the engine room really
Yeah,
well. You could hear it like kind of echoing and stuff.
I mean, if we produce this play today, it'd be so polished and shiny. It wouldn't be as good as what this version is,
Right?
because it's classic. It's of its era, of its day,
Yep.
and I just love it. I just love it. I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of all these radio players on YouTube. Half minute long. And I've listened to many of them, but this one's new to me. So I'm glad you picked this one, Susan.
Yeah, too.
Mm.
I knew that we needed to, because we've been mentioning Heinlein in reference to a few of the other podcasts that we've been doing recently, and so I just thought that it would be really important to bring something of him onto the
Well, thi-
table.
this kept. I mean, it's, let's say, only half an hour long, but this kept me listening, and that's good, because some of the stuff we've done lately was. Mm,
Yeah, I know.
so I
Yep,
wish these people who made that had listened to this and
yep.
took notes.
Are you talking about the Excelsior?
Oh, oh no, you shouldn't say it.
Oh, crikey. We have something that we're not allowed to mention now. Oh boy,
That audio player that cannot be named.
that's interesting. I didn't realize that we had a verboten
No,
situation here. Okay,
no, I'm on listen. But,
sure you are, sure you are. But the fact that it's a resounding hit with you is just fun.
hmm.
The the kind of story that it is it's very much your antagonists are people that you don't actually see until at the very end, and that is often very jarring. A couple of the things that we've been looking at have that structure, like the Mandalorian and stuff. Like we've been looking at these things that the baddie doesn't show up until like right at the very end, and that was just so interesting how they didn't, after that great exploration and their mind opening up, and they're sort of becoming open and in wonder and awe people. Authoritarianism comes down hard.
If it goes against their belief, they
Yep.
will not have any of it.
Yep. And authoritarianism is just so dangerous. And that's what I'm saying. We need books. We need to not ban them. We need free speech. We need to not ban it. But we do need some help when it comes to, giving everybody weapons of war. But the reality is like the hyper, the hyperdrive, travel. This is people on a long ass trip, and they got confused. All of them got confused because of what happened, because of who they were listening to, mainly Jordan. Yeah, so it just broke.
As I said, there wasn't mostly listening to Jordan. Jordan's name was just the one they used because he was the one who created the mission, the flight, and his name through the centuries has been confused with the name of God, shall we say?
Yeah, exactly, precisely.
I mean, Jordan passed away thousands and thousands of years before all these events are happening.
That's true.
Time can mess with people's memories.
That's also true.
And the written word also can be altered to people's ends and means.
Yes, good point. So yeah, I just what do you rate this Final Saiyan score?
Enjoyed it. It was short and sweet. Because sometimes when it's only less than half an hour long, you think, "Oh, are they gonna? Is this going to be a good story? Is it just going to go like that?" But I rammed a lot of stuff into this. Great acting, great feel of classic 1950s sci-fi. Do you know what? I'm going to give it. I'm going to give it 10. 10 Bobos out of 10.
Nice.
Now, if you've heard the drama, you know who Bobo is.
Yeah. And not a clown, but no. There's the
people in charge were the clowns.
The people in charge were the clowns. Yeah. So I'll give this 8.5 decks out of 10 because I thought I just liked the fact that it was like don't go up, don't go down, you're stuck on your own level, and that to me was the only thing that was like that would have been claustrophobic had our heroes not stepped outside of that stricture and gone to the engine level and gone up to the control room. But they did. So 8.5 of those decks out of 10. And thanks for watching us do this podcast. Thanks for liking and subscribing, hitting that bell notification button. And also thank you for joining us on social media. And if you'd like to join us in person and join these conversations, just talk to Lee. He's our man in charge. Just give him a slide into his DMs and give him a holler. And yeah, all you got to do is have Zoom, a device, a microphone, and a camera, and be 18 or over, because some of the stuff that we do is a little risque or a little, and the discussion can get a bit adult. So yeah, thanks for watching, and our next podcast will be The Yellow Submarine by the Beatles, I think. If not Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. I'm not sure which one was really instrumental in this. Anyway, thanks for watching.